Nestled into a dark corner by the river lived a man known as Salvador Wicks, a claustrophobic vagabond who lived on the fringes of society, now a survivor in a world turned upside down. Separated from his sister during the beginning calamity, Salvador never thought he would hear from her again. But fate had other plans. A man on a journey found Salvador and delivered him a life-changing letter, written in his sister's unmistakable handwriting. It tells of a safe place, a commune, just south of Louisville, Kentucky, where many survivors had gathered together. With nothing but her prized bike and the bag on her back, we'll set out on a journey through the abyss, where the dead walk the earth, where hope is the only thing that keeps us going. This is the Claustrophobic Nomad Challenge. The rules are simple. Only allowed to operate our prized bike, no other vehicles. The bike must reach the final destination. No sleeping inside buildings. We hate walls and desire the open air as much as possible. From the desolate landscape of the northern frontier, our odyssey commences. Our mission to navigate the treacherous path parallel to the river, forging our own way towards a new beginning. As our wheels tread the desiccated terrain, we embark on a daring descent through the heart of Kentucky, driven by dauntless determination to uncover our sister's elusive sanctuary. It had been many years since the outbreak deluged over the entire nation. All hell broke out at first. There was anarchy between the looters and the walking dead. Even before the outbreak, we were always getting into trouble. So when the world turned upside down, it was just another normal day for us. We lived by the river with our sister where we did whatever we pleased. Freedom was nice, but Amelia wasn't settled with selfish endeavors. She was a kind soul who desired to help others all her life. Before our separation, Amelia volunteered at a local homeless shelter in a nearby town, cooking meals and treating their injuries. She taught us to always carry bandages just in case. Ripped clothing would have to do for now. We heard about what happened on the radio first, on a calm, warm day, the banjo in our hands still vibrating from the notes plucked happily. A wave of the dead, a clash of bullets, and a news flash that the world was never going to be the same. The nearby town had already been overrun, and the congestion of walking death forced us in another direction. But we'd held out hope all this time that she'd escape, somewhere, somehow. Now after all this time, we gained proof that she was still out there. We didn't really need to think about it twice. We left the comfort of Riverside living, carrying only what we could carry, to be with the only person who's ever cared about us. In fact, it was Amelia who gave us this bike. We still have no idea how she managed to afford it. That brings us up to today. Now we're in a world where the zombie population has gone insane, and finding anything of value is insanely rare. We happily scavenge from those who cross our path, taking anything we deem useful. Ever since we crossed that barricade, the congestion of the walking dead has only gotten worse. It feels like we can't go 5 feet without having to fight our way through the grips of their hunger. But that didn't mean we couldn't enjoy ourselves along the way. We found it fundamental to live for the journey, not just the destination. This group of piñatas had a digital watch for us, so now we could finally see what time it was. You'd think after so many years we'd have taken a watch by now. Our plan going forward was pretty simple. We'd make our way to the river for easy access to food, and then push south toward Louisville day by day. We had limited capacity to bring extra things along, so we'd be looking for a specific few items. We only had a wrench and a screwdriver, and a few knives, so we'd need to find a hammer or saw if we were going to become more self-reliant. We'd also like to find a tent for easy sleeping arrangements, as well as finding or making a campfire kit. These 2 items alone will fill half of our bike's carrying capacity. Each bag holds 5 pounds, and we currently only have 2 bags. We also have the capacity of any bags we can carry while driving, but this will put a lot of extra strain on us throughout the trip if we overload them. Luxury items like guns and sledgehammers will need to be considered very carefully. We find a loaded hunting rifle. This would be an absolutely amazing find if B-42 was already out, and we could use it for hunting. Right now, it's just a very heavy noisemaker. The old dilapidated death trap still had a few items inside. After clearing out the broken glass, we'll hop inside to take a closer look. But before we could, another small horde came to pester us. With that taken care of, we step back into the ever-shrinking box and find a very welcome surprise. A pack of smokes, some matches, a garbage bag, and a warm pop for the road. We still didn't have a bottle to carry water, so this would be a lifesaver if we find ourselves thirsty and too far from a water source. As we drive towards the old country store by the river, our expedition is once again impeded, this time by thirst and the dead. We take an opportunity to steal a drink as the horde around us begins to gather. The afternoon was already dragging on, and we needed to consider what we were going to do once night fell upon us. We needed to secure a spot to spend the night. This horde was a bit bigger than we could easily dispatch. We'll attempt to use the trees and bushes to our aid. Ultimately, we end up just losing them out in the field and making a break for it in the other direction. We'll clean up any of the stragglers and continue towards the river. Our stomachs begin to growl after a long day of arduous stabbing. A package of gummy worms is a reward for cleaning out this building's pest problem, as well as a wonderful hammer, one of the many specific items we were looking for. The second floor was already completely wiped out. After a quick refresher from the tap, we'll make our way back into the open air and spot a place we might call home tonight. A rather sizable gazebo we can use to shelter us from the weather. In the middle of our fight, our trusty blade snaps in half, rendering it useless. We'll have to finish this one with our beat. Thankfully, we found plenty stabbed into the dead for us to use. On these loot boxes, a 22 LR pistol with a box of ammo awaited us cheerfully. A decent find, but with how weak this gun was, we'd likely leave it behind for the next survivor, since it would just weigh us down. As we approached the boarded-up tackle shop, a dreary rain began to stir, coating the area with the aromatic smell of springtime. We couldn't have found this area at a better time. Inside the tackle shop awaited a beautiful menagerie of items. A couple of tarps, and a couple tent pegs, but not enough for a full tent. As well as a hand crossbow and a couple bolts, a weapon light enough that it might just come with us. Behind the counter, we found the rest of the prize we seeked, the final tent pegs we needed to make the tent kit for easier living. We also found a can of beans upstairs. Just a single can of beans, nothing else. During our perimeter cleanup, we found a wonderful hiking bag to replace our satchel with, giving us just a little bit more of the space that we desperately needed. For dinner tonight, we'd enjoy some canned corn and beans that we found in the nearby shops. Now that we had the tarp and the tent pegs, we just needed sturdy sticks to finish its craft. To make the sticks, we'd need a saw. And to make a saw, we'd need the hammer, and some planks from these barricades. It'd take us 2 hours to realize we'd been carrying the wrong hammer to get this whole thing started. With the proper hammer and some electronics, we'd earnestly begin our craft chain. First, we smash the electronics into a saw blade and make a saw. Then we use the new saw to craft the sturdy sticks. With those, we can complete the tent kit. And from now on, we'd be sleeping luxuriously all across Kentucky. With a nice bed now acquired, we turn our focus to making a makeshift barricade around where we'll be sleeping tonight. With our makeshift barricade complete, we rest easy as we lay down in our tent and let the eerie dance of snowflakes rock us to sleep. In a worst-case scenario, we now had a place we could fall back to if we needed to rest and recuperate in the comfort of safety. When we awoke the next day, the snowstorm had shifted into a downpour. We decided, since we got in so late, we would stay here and do some fishing. We used our axe to make some logs from a nearby tree and carve them down into spears that we can use for fishing. We didn't have a talent for it, but we'd spend all day trying to catch us a delicious meal for tonight, which we'd succeed in doing. We'd have good food for the day and tomorrow, at the very least. It was the morning of day 3. Another flurry of snow descended upon the chilled earth before the rise of the sun. We awoke early to an icy breeze and decided to take off down the road to find a place to shelter and warm up. We decided to leave behind the hunting rifle and the pistol. Although useful tools, they ultimately outweighed any benefits they'd bring. We'd spent so long waiting, grew tired. After the sun had warmed the tundra, we'd lay out for a dangerous afternoon nap. When we awakened refreshed, we'd pack our stuff and finish looting the neighboring house. Packed away in this golden fridge, a mighty meal of lard, jam-packed full of calories to keep us full for a long time. Not exactly gourmet dining, though. Way down the road, we find a cutoff with an old farmhouse that's calling to us. We've decided to set up camp here for tonight, which means we'll need to clear out the perimeter. As we approach cautiously, eerie sounds withered out from within the darkness all around. Inside the creepy mess laid even more creepiness. We tried for a bit, but it felt like the whole world was going to cave in on us. We backtracked quickly. Before sending a blade of light piercing through the ephemeral darkness, lighting our way forward. Clown car of a room nearly caught us by surprise. We didn't waste any time putting room between us and the vanishing door trick. We spent a few moments recollecting ourselves before returning to the task at hand, clearing out a place to rest peacefully. After our perimeter has been cleaned up a bit, we do some foraging just to see what we can find. We managed to find some twigs, another zombie, and a campfire kit that we can claim for our own, completing the list of specific survival items we were searching for. If only we could find a bottle now. Our first few days headed towards Louisville have been a monumental success. We have portable cooking and comfort, a basic set of tools for maintenance and construction, and a decent arsenal of bladed weaponry to carve a path forward to her sister. We still had a few items to secure, like water and gas containers, but that would have to wait until next time. If you enjoyed the content and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button. A like, favorite, or share is also greatly appreciated. If you have a suggestion for a future challenge, please let me know about it down below or by joining the Discord. Thanks and have a wonderful one.